Hi everyone and welcome. I'm Diane and my passion is painting and creating nature-inspired watercolours in my studio, which are easy for you to do too. I share all my paintings with you on YouTube, and on our website dianeantone.com you can find free downloadable sketches for all the videos to help you make the most of your painting journey. And if you'd like a little bit more, we also have channel memberships with loads of perks for you to enjoy. So welcome on board. Click subscribe and turn on notifications, and let's learn to paint watercolour. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Diane here, hope everyone's well. December is well upon us, and I'm thinking about recycling some things. So today I am doing some recycled wrapping paper, which creates something quite nice, I think. You could do tags as well. But wrapping paper like this, made out of just ordinary brown wrapping paper, which I think probably came with a parcel from somewhere, I don't know where. And I'm going to wrap up, first of all, just a little box like this. This is a silver key ring thing. So I only need a piece about this big, and really recycled. This is definitely not bought for the purpose in hand. Neither is this. This is a piece of candle. This is the other piece. And what I've done is I've just sharpened it a bit using a knife like this. I've just brought it to a point because before it was this shape. So we'll just sharpen it up a little bit more for this one. It's just like sharpening a pencil, and it's easier. So just do that for a bit until you get something sharp enough, and then you might want to just cut off any bit of wick that's sticking out, because that would interfere with your work. I'll put that over there. And then so the design that I did on this one started off with stars, and what I did was, what I'm going to do again, is I'm going to draw. Now, what you actually, I should mention this actually, because you might want to draw your stars on in pencil first, and they won't show when the whole thing's been painted. But what it does do is it helps you to make sure that you don't leave any spaces where you don't want to leave spaces. Okay, so that gives me an indication there. So now I'm just going to go over those and do these stars with the candle. So this is wax resist. Just casual wax resist. And by the time you've built up your design, you won't even know that there was wax on here. You don't have to melt it off or anything like that. You might want to iron the back of the paper to make it smoother before you use it to wrap up with, but you don't need to get the wax off. It's neither here nor there. Okay, so then I've got my Kuretake paints here. And because this is going to be stars and moons, I'm going to use a very dark blue. So I'll use this one here, which is, I think the Kuretake paints are really very, very good for this kind of crafting type of painting. This one's called number 67 Indigo. Much better than using your expensive paints. You don't need expensive paints for a project like this. But this is a lovely warm-up, lovely to do with children, grandchildren, and lovely to just do when you're feeling like you don't want to paint anything sensible. I mean, we don't always want to paint landscapes by Roland Hilder, do we? I realised while I was doing this morning that all those years I watched Blue Peter, people from England will know what I'm talking about, and Valerie Singleton and her sticky back plastic, and one she prepared earlier, all had to be for a reason. And I think I was fascinated by that program and the things. Wasn't very interested in anything else, but I did like the craft bits where they made, villages and, I don't know, rocket ships and God knows what else. They were always building something every week. And I wanted to make it too, but didn't have enough materials in the house. I longed for a roll of sticky back plastic and an empty toilet roll holder. Never seemed to come across those things in my house when I was a kid. Anyway, so all I've done is literally gone over this, and as you can see, like magic, the stars come out, and but we're not finished yet. I'll just go over them a little bit more. You can use this kind of idea for making gift tags as well, like this, and just to embellish with some. And you can actually, what I did on that one, I also came into the center of the trees with really dark blue just in the centers. You can do that too, just kind of emphasize the centers where you've made centers. Sometimes you haven't got centers, but the trees, of course, had them. And I've left a bit of a gap there, but I will be filling that in later. So don't worry about that. But the next thing I have to do now is dry it with the hairdryer. So I'll turn you off. Okay, so that's dry. So now I'm going to take up my wax candle again, and I'm going to draw some more stars in the spaces. And try to remember where I put them. And I'm also going to draw some moon shapes too. Just randomly, doesn't matter where they go, as long as you get reasonable coverage and a variety. So this really is something excellent to do with children. I think you probably would love it. Now with the same colour, and you don't want to change the colour, so we just carry on with the second layer of indigo. This is indigo. It doesn't have to be indigo. It could be any colour. I can see I'm going to have to be replacing some of my colours in my Kuretake set soon. Maybe I'll just buy a whole new set. Perhaps one of the ones with slightly fewer colours, because that will have indigo in it. So just go over the whole of this again. I was watching a video this morning by some lady, calls herself an artist. Don't know. Well, of course she is an artist if she calls herself an artist, so she's an artist. And she was talking about when she feels blocked, how she inspires herself. And it was an interesting idea, because she, when she can't think of anything to paint, she gets out a book of, or goes online and finds a painting by somebody famous or somebody well known that she likes, and she copies it in great detail, and then she feels that unblocks her. And that's interesting, isn't it? Because to me that would be probably do the reverse. And then somebody in the comments said, oh yes, well, that's interesting, but what I do is I just do something really, really easy with squiggles and stuff until I stop being blocked. And that's more the way I think. So I'm just going to dry this now, so I'll turn you off again. Okay, so that's the second layer done. And now I'm going to take one of my little pans of gold paint. This is, could be Kuretake Starry Colours, but it isn't. This one is the Finetech Coliro, I think it's called, or something like that. Gold, and this one is, not sure which one, but it's that one, it belongs there. And I've wetted it a little bit so that it started to soften up. And then we can paint, and you can paint as accurately or as loosely as you want. And I'm just painting 5 pointed stars here in gold, and I'm going to fill them in like that. There's something tremendously pleasant about painting with gold paint. I don't know why. To remember to get it right though. Anyway, up, down, across, up, down. Muscle memory comes into play here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And when you hesitate, of course, it doesn't work quite so well. That's it, like that. These fine-tech paints are lovely. I think they're a little bit more tenacious, a bit more powerful than the Kuretake ones, but the Kuretake ones are good too. They're a little bit cheaper. I've heard about other makes as well, but I haven't tried any others yet, but no doubt. Oh yes, no, I will be trying some soon. What's their name? Etcher do a gold set, and they're going to send me a set to try because I asked them to, oh, the power. I asked them to send me some paints and they're going to. What shall I ask for next? Small Mercedes? Right, so filling in gaps with stars like this. And then we can put in some moons, and you could do the moons in gold or you could do them in silver. And you could do them with faces on them if you wanted. You know, like the man in the moon. And you could have them facing different directions depending on which side of the planet you come from. Don't know if that's true. Anyway, so we carry on like this for a bit. And yes, we might have a few going the other way because I've turned the paper over. You noticed that you have a preference for curving curves in one direction rather than another? I do. Okay, so that's that. Put that aside for a sec, and then I'm going to grab I am going to take my, this is a Uniball gold pen, and we are going to do spirals all over. As well as being economical, I mean, I know you're using up paint, but how many of us have got boxes full of paint, tins of paint, paints galore that we never use because when we know unless you live to be 300 years old, a lot of the time you'll never use up all of your paints. I don't know how many times I've finished a tube of paint or a pan of paint. I've got paints I bought in 1980, still with me. There's nothing wrong with them. They're fine. I keep using them. They don't go away. They won't go away. They won't get used up. But if you do something like this and you're being very economical because you're recycling brown paper that otherwise would sit in a drawer saying, is anyone ever going to think about using me for wrapping anything up nowadays when you've got better things to do? Well, get that paper out. Don't bother going to the store and stand in line for 2.5 hours waiting to buy a roll of paper. Make your own. That's what I say. Anyway, so there you are. So now we've got lots of spirals on there too. And the next thing, we're going to get some more of this paint. And it's so much more individual. I'm going to try not to put paint all over my lovely new cardigan, which I just bought from Ireland. Can't buy anything from England anymore. I live in France. And the situation now that we're in England, I'm English for my sins. Now that we're not in the EU anymore, when you try to buy something from a country outside of the EU, the French hammer you with taxes and God knows what else. And every time I get a parcel, doesn't matter what's in it, I have to pay €22, which is the same as $22, in order for the post lady to give it to me. It might have something in it worth next to nothing, but I still have to pay. And I don't like doing that. So I can buy from Ireland, though, because Southern Ireland is in the EU. Now, I've spattered that, and you can also then, if you want, you can do some more spatter. Take some of your paint, put it in a little dish or a palette or a saucer or whatever, dilute it a little bit. Then take your trusty husband's toothbrush and you can just spray. This will give you a much finer spray, which then gives you a texture all over the paper. And trust me, when this is dry, it'll look quite pretty. And you wrap it up with gold ribbons and things like that. And it's handmade. It costs you nothing but 10 minutes. You can cut it up and make it into gift tags if you want. And you can do other designs too, like, for example, I've got this little swatch here of designs I was working on. You could do leaves, you could do berries, you could do Christmas trees, like that. I've got other ideas for Christmas tree tags here. I just cut them very roughly. It would be nice to have a proper ring strengthener there. You can get them in cardboard, I think, that look really cute on these sort of rustic boho kind of, you know, thingy-whatsits, tags. And here's the parcel which I wrapped up earlier in this paper, which I've now just made because I made that. That was my prototype. It's not a real present in there. It's a box of staples, but it's a convenient size. Anyway, so there we are. That's that. What I'm going to do with that now is take it upstairs and iron it on the back, making sure that I don't put the waxed side down. Well, actually, so that I don't connect it with the iron, because the iron would then pick up the wax a little bit. So I put it between sheets of paper, iron it nice and flat, and then we're good to go. So there we are. That's today's little project. And say hi to one of my angels. Hi. And I'll see you again soon. So bye, everybody. Bye-bye.